Hi, everybody. It's Region Weather Meteorologist Matt Wentz. Want to come at you here tonight. I think it's Tuesday. I almost forgot what night it was. Tuesday night? Is that tonight? Tonight's Tuesday, right? Yeah, it's Tuesday. That's great. Shows you how fast this week's going. Anyway, we've got this winter storm later this week, and we've got new model information in here over the last hour or so. And I mean, this is going to be a storm that heads right up through the gut of Northwest Indiana. So there's still some questions with this, but I know there's a lot of social media buzz around this system, whether it's, the epic snowstorm or whether it's just a big rainstorm for us. So I want to take you through the latest thinking on that, what we know, what we don't know, and kind of what we're thinking in terms of our forecasts here as we, are getting closer to Friday. So we ought to know some answers by now, okay? So we'll run the open. As always, we'll answer your questions at the end, and we'll enjoy some weather talk here on this Tuesday evening. It's a special edition of Region Weather Live. And what a wonderful family of sponsors we have here. Again, if you can support any of our sponsors on the side of the screen right here, that'd be great. They do a wonderful job for us here across the region. Not me, for you. Wonderful group of folks that we have. All right, want to say hi to our early birds here. We've got Jeff on board. Derek, how are you doing, buddy? Don Z, thanks for joining us on our YouTube channel. I appreciate that. Kyle says no snow. Ann says hi. Hi, Ann. Sherry and Jerry are exchanging highs, so it's nice that we have family meeting here. I really do like that. Good evening to you, Stacy. Thanks for joining us on YouTube. Dave, you as well. I appreciate that. Laura, hello. Sherry, hello. Mary, hello as well. Guys, let's jump into it. Why don't we? This is, again, bonus material here in terms of our Region Weather Live coverage of the storm system as it develops. So here's what we've got right now. There's a little disturbance heading through the area right now. This is going to bring a little bit of rain overnight tonight. May see some wet snowflakes in spots, but this is the warm front that brings us a real nice warm day tomorrow. All right, we're talking 50s at least, so that's nice for this time of year. I know it's not 70, but 50s will do. May have some 60s in our southern communities, but this is the warm front, so this will be real brief tonight. Tomorrow we'll go to a mix of clouds and sun. The only thing is holding back from full-on sun tomorrow is the fact we've got a big mess coming from the west. So you've got this disturbance down here, which is going to spray some clouds our way. This one up here, which is actually dragging that warm front north, that will put some high clouds in the air. So we're going to have intervals of clouds around as well. So not completely all out sunny day, but a beautiful day tomorrow. This system out towards California, you can see how some of the energy is kind of diving south. All right, this is what heads south, rounds the base of this trough out west. So it'll come out south of the Four Corners region, pretty much near Phoenix. It'll head towards Santa Fe, out into Texas, and this will be our new area of low pressure Thursday and Friday. And that's what all the buzz is about around this storm system. Initially, if you join me, Sunday night Region Weather Live, we were obviously talking about this. It was a week away. We saw this last week as well. We were highlighting some kind of storm system. Most of the models brought this thing further south, which is a lot of times, especially this winter, how storms have started. And that brought the snow. Remember, brought the snow through Kentucky, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. And remember, it was missing us by then. And I said, well, we have to watch the track of this system because it is going to change. And it has changed, and it's corrected north and west. And so 2 days ago, we were talking potential snow around here where we get in the axis of heaviest snow. Could still shift, right? We knew that. And now what's happened is the track of the system has shifted even further off towards the north. So that really puts us in play whether or not we get heavy snow or heavy rain out of this. I would probably lean more rain. And the reason why, that's the way the winter's gone so far, which is this mild flow air just continues to dominate. So let's get through it here. Here's what we're dealing with tonight. You can see that little area of rain and perhaps some wet snow mixing in. It'll be very brief, and then it's out of here. Tomorrow's a quiet day. We'll have a low pressure that kind of develops over Indiana. Notice it hasn't grabbed down any Gulf of Mexico moisture yet, so we're not expecting any rain or anything tomorrow afternoon. That will all develop east once it gets going. By then, it's already out of here. By tomorrow afternoon, temperatures will start to come down, especially near the lake as that low gets going. Notice how when it's over us, we're fine, but then towards evening, we start to bring these isobars, those black lines, out of the north, so that will turn that wind out of the north as that low starts to fill in. So temperatures are going to start to cool. And what this will do, this is going to bring the cool air down out ahead of that next storm system. As this, tomorrow, this storm system's now getting into the Four Corners region, eventually into Texas. So we're not really dealing with it yet. So quiet tomorrow afternoon. We'll be quiet on Thursday as well. And then Friday, we start to see this low develop. You see how things start to get going down to our south and the west. That's what we're going to turn our attention to. So I'll show you the latest model runs. Again, these are hot off the press. This is the 18Z Euro run. And here comes our storm system. This is Friday early morning. We're not raining yet. But for that morning rush hour, we'll probably have some rain and or wet snow moving in. By midday Friday, the system is here. We've got wind that'll be out of the southeast. That's a given. We'll have some kind of precip falling. That's a given. Big question is, and I'll just take this model run through its entirety. You can see where that low goes. If the low goes west of us or northwest of us, that means we're on the warmer side. You've got the warmer side of the system here. If it travels south of us or east of us, that means we're on the colder side, which would, bring us in the snow at this time of year. And so as the system develops, you can see how we've got some cold air in place. The Euro is saying we started some wet snow Friday, and then we change over to this kind of rainy mix of gloppy snow and mainly rain. Kind of messy. That's Friday night, all right? Heavy snow's lining up. Chicago, right on the borderline, but definitely northern Illinois in this model has the heaviest snow around, and that's where the impacts are going to be, right? No one really cares about the rainy side of it. It's not fun to talk about. And then the system kind of pulls on out. There's not a lot of wrap with this. It kind of heads straight out. So, maybe a lingering rain or snow shower Saturday, and then it's out of here. I do want to show you the other models, though, okay? So I'm going to pause it right here. This is Friday afternoon. This is when we're going from snow to rain. I'm going to go to the same time frame on the GFS. And you can see the GFS has a pretty similar track right through central, maybe even into northern Indiana. And that's got the heavier snow back towards Chicago as well. All right, so it's pretty much the same thing there. The only thing the GFS doesn't have is some of that snow initially as the system moves in, but it does have more snow on the back end where we kind of cool that atmosphere as the low pulls colder air in. I could see that where we change over to snow briefly before it ends. All right, last model I want to show you is the Canadian model. This one is further south, and this is why I show this, because the Canadian models, we're talking 50 miles difference in where this low goes. The Canadian model still has it south. It has all day. And notice how we start as snow Friday, we stay as snow, and we get some pretty good totals out of that, probably a 3 to 6 incher on that as that moves on out. So we can't rule out the southern track. What we know right now is the timing of this storm system. So it's going to move in Friday morning as it looks right now, and I don't think that's going to fluctuate a whole lot. And it's going to move out Saturday morning. So we know that. We know there's going to be lots of moisture with this. So we're either going to end up with heavy rain or we could get some snow out of it. What I'm leaning towards right now is the fact that I think we may start as some wet snowflakes Friday and go over to rain. Again, the track is going to be crucial with this, but I'm leaning towards that. I feel that in my gut that the system's going to be doing that. I don't really trust what the gem is saying. Could the Euro switch to a more southerly track? It certainly could. And that would bring us in all snow. So, the track of this low is still yet to be determined. And that really decides our impacts on Friday, if we get all snow or if we get rain and snow. But just given conditions right now, given the conditions of all winter so far, the fact that we have no snowpack here in the region, it's all north of here, that tells me this system's going to continue to be pulled to the north a little bit. Whereas if we had a snowstorm last week and we laid snow over Indiana, Ohio, Illinois, I would favor probably a little bit further south of a track with this. But either way, we're going to have some wind around here. And again, I know it's not fun to talk about, but it looks like wind and rain at this point. Morning rush hour Friday will be in question. That afternoon rush hour, to me, looks to be all rain right now. So just be a wet rush hour, again, with some wind around. And then Friday night into Saturday, we'll have to watch that to see how much wraparound moisture there is with the system as it pulls on out. Last thing I want to show you, I'll show you snowfall totals just to see where they're at and kind of where they're going in terms of numbers, if they're going up and down. This will be your first look with me looking at these in terms of the 18Z model data. So this is the Euro, this is the 18Z, and you can see where that snow goes. Why don't we zoom in just a little bit more here, just so we can see it a little bit better on our screens. So there you go. So this is the Euro run, and you notice it's got just a trace. This is at the end of the event. This isn't even during the event. In Northwest Indiana, not much. You get up towards Chicago, it's saying 2 to 4. Northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin, that's where you're getting into the 6 to 10, maybe up to a foot totals where the heart of that storm goes. The GFS, remember, that's got more snow on the backside of this. So this isn't front loaded. This is on the backside. It really cuts down on the snow totals in Illinois. It really cuts down in Wisconsin. Can you imagine being a forecaster in Milwaukee right now where the Euro says you're going to get 10 inches of snow and then the GFS says 0.2, which isn't even enough to dust the ground. So we're not the only ones that are questioning where the storm goes, right? Then that's kind of how these work, and they'll sort themselves out over the days to come. But this brings it further south. It has a good 3 to 6 for Chicago, a good 2 to 5 here in the region. So there's that. And again, that's the GFS, and that's mainly backloaded with that snow Friday night. And then a final look at the Canadian model. This is the one that was further south. You notice that too cuts back on the snow in Illinois. It really takes it out of Wisconsin, and it brings the heavier snow as this low develops further out towards the east. So what we call that, folks, is widespread in model solutions, meaning the forecast isn't really confident. So that's why the National Weather Service, if you subscribe to them, they're talking right now. Their forecast for Friday is rain and snow. Their forecast Friday night is rain and snow. Saturday, it's rain and snow ending. Because it's too early to call this. It's too early to call where the track of the low is. But again, the things we can look at right now, the things that we know that we can start to plan our Friday around is the fact that we're going to have the system moving in Friday morning. It'll be moving out Saturday morning. We're going to get some wind with it. That's a guarantee. Not a real crazy wind. I don't know if we'll have wind advisories out of this, but we'll probably have gusts over 30 at times with this as that low moves in. And then the other thing we need to know is that we need to figure out this track over the next couple of days of where this goes. And we're also seeing kind of the range of the snowfall amounts. Remember back was that I think it was in January, that one system that was a week out on our model runs. Remember that one system was showing like 30 to 40 inches over Northwest Indiana, and then it went up to Michigan, and then it moved. That was a big storm with a ton of energy to it, right? This one on that scale is talking 6 to 10, maybe 11 inches total, which is a lot, but it just kind of gives you the scale of storm systems. This isn't a huge storm, but it's a decent storm. It's very similar to the last couple of storms we've had in terms of strength and intensity and amount of moisture with it. So that's kind of where we're at right now in terms of the modeling. So I'd be happy to answer your questions for you. And again, in terms of that precip type, that's going to be the tricky thing here, is figuring out exactly if it's going to be rain or snow with that. Okay. So let me see who we've got here. Laura, hello. Sherry, hi. Eric, thanks for joining us, buddy. I appreciate it. Becky, hi to you. Pamela's on. Rich is here. Caitlin says, my 7-year-old daughter, Peyton, says, hi, loves watching your weather reports. Caitlin, I love that. Your daughter is awesome. If that's her in the picture, she looks even double awesome. Anyway, so hi to her. I hope you guys are doing well and studying the weather here for sure. Caitlin's a teacher as well. So I know, boy, our teachers, all of our kids. I'm hearing states are going away from snow days. They're doing virtual days, virtual learning. Is that true in Indiana? I haven't heard of anywhere around here doing that, but boy, that just takes away the magic of a snow day. I don't know why they would do that. Mark is on here. Hi, Mark. Good evening, sir. Rain instead of snow. Can't push the rain. Yeah. Well, you can with a squeegee, but it's not a lot of fun and doesn't bring in a lot of money. Let's be honest. Yeah, Mark, it looks like we could get some snow at the beginning of this event. As of right now, I am leaning at turning over to rain. We've still got some models that keep it south, which keep us all snow. So there's still a chance for this one. This isn't like the last couple storms in that we're pretty confident that it's going to be all rain where the snow's way off towards the north. We're towing the line with this. So a model run tomorrow that runs 50 miles further south, which is entirely possible, would change this over to a snow event for us. But Friday would be the day that anything would happen with this. Kyle, not a lot of freezing rain with this. That's a really good question, buddy. I think this is going to be a big ice event for areas like Pennsylvania and New York as cold air comes in with a high pressure, kind of undercuts that warm air coming in aloft. But for us, it's pretty straightforward in terms of precip types. We'll have a pretty warm atmosphere tomorrow, obviously, but Wednesday we'll still have a pretty warm atmosphere up above us. So I'm not worried about any cold slipping in and undercutting warm air that's coming in up above. I think it's either going to be rain or snow with this one. I don't think there's going to be a lot in between. That also could change if we just bring in a little sliver of warm air in aloft and get some heavier air down here at the surface. It just kind of sticks around, but I don't really foresee that changing. I don't think we're going to go that way. Yeah, let's see. What's that comment I just saw? Oh, Maxwell says, is it me or have the last three lows gone right over Northwest Indiana? Maxwell, this has been the storm track all winter. It really has. It's either over Northwest Indiana or we've had storm tracks up towards Minnesota where we're completely rain, and the strong low goes up there. It's incredible. And this pattern finally looks to break next week. We've been stuck in the same pattern for about 4.5 weeks now, where the storms come across California. California is loving it. I know they have, they're getting a ton of snow. Let me put it that way. I know the flooding and the severe weather and stuff like that isn't very fun for them. But I mean, they're erasing that drought in a single winter. So all these storms are coming down through California. And the way jet streams work, I mean, anytime a storm comes through California, it's bound to come up towards us somewhere. And this has just been the line all winter. A little bit further south, we would have a very snowy winter. A little further north, we'd have even warmer days. It's amazing how weather works. And you're absolutely right when you say the last three lows have gone right over Northwest Indiana. Jason, that's a good call. Are you in Tahoe now? I would imagine you would be if you're out there. So Jason, in terms of extending your trip, if you're flying into O'Hare, I think you have a bigger risk of having a flight delay, or maybe even a cancellation. If I don't know where you're flying into. If you're lucky and you're flying into Gary, hey, why not? But if you're flying in Indianapolis, I think your chances are better with this. It should be mainly rain down there. I would imagine you're coming back to O'Hare Midway though, and because of that, you just need to watch the forecast. I mean, they're towing the line too with some snow, and again, that's Friday, so that is during your flight. This system will have impacts. There will be severe weather down towards the south. They'll have a lot of impacts with this due to the wind as well, not just here, but all across the Midwest and the Southern Plains. So keep that in mind as you're coming back. Friday is going to be kind of a tricky, bumpy ride back for sure. And we may have some delays and cancellations, especially as you get up in the snowy part of the system. So you may want to extend, but if it's super expensive, I don't know. I would just stick to your flight, but yeah, there's certainly a chance for that. Terry, you're welcome. No problem, for sure. Yeah, Nicole says e-learning days in Crown Point instead of snow days. Oh, that's just awful. These poor kids, teachers too. Rich, you're absolutely welcome. No problem. Usually have time to play as well, though, too. Okay, good. Thanks for that. Caitlin says extend vacation. Definitely. That's good advice as well. Hi, BCY. Thanks for joining us on our YouTube channel. I appreciate that. Let's see. Maxwell says, any chance for thunder on Friday? There actually is, Maxwell. We've got good lift in the atmosphere that day. So, we could have some thunder snow where the banding sets up off to the north. We could have some thundery weather around here. I think it would be more concentrated downstate, a little bit closer to where that warm air core is. But certainly the chance in this. I mean, this is a dynamic enough storm to produce some thunder and lightning. Jennifer asked a good question. I haven't read this yet. I hope it's clean. Okay. Do you ever do comparisons post-winter on the Farmer's Almanac predictions? Because I feel this winter is complete opposite of the reliable Farmer's Almanac. Jennifer, I don't waste my time. I really don't. What's funny is my mom gets me just for Christmas, kind of as a prank. She gets me the Farmer's Almanac every single year. I usually have it at my desk. I think I trashed it. I think I burned it early this year. I give them. It's cute. I mean, they're trying to make money on that thing. The weather to me in there is just, and it always has been. And I don't know if people notice this or if they actually take it seriously. It's like a fortune teller. And it's just so vague. It's like, if no one's familiar with the Farmer's Almanac forecasts, they're in the back and you have to go by section. And they're so vague in terms of like, they'll say, like, let's say it's the 28th today. They'll say, okay, the February 20th through the 28th, colder periods with sunshine, some snow. Okay, that's February, and every now and then they'll get real specific and they'll say like winter storm on like March 1st through the 3rd, and it'll be high pressure across the country, So, they try. Again, Caitlin likes my comment on them. It's cute. But they try. But I don't do a post. You can do a post-winter comparison just to tell yourself that Farmer's Almanac is not 100% accurate. All right, it's probably like 10% accurate. So you can do that for me, and that will turn you away from that. I did that years ago, and I don't even look at it. I appreciate the gift though from my mom. It's nice. Okay, I think I've answered everything. So hopefully that helps. Again, brief rain tonight. Tomorrow looks good. We're going to warm up nicely tomorrow. Let me show you temperatures tomorrow before you head on out, because it's going to be split from north to south. So I want you to keep that in mind. Here we go. So this is tomorrow. Let me make sure I get to our max. There it is. Is that the max? Yeah, that's the max. So here are our highs tomorrow. Real warm air down to the south is trying to make it north. There's not going to be a lot of time for it to do so. That's why we're not going to warm really big time, but it's going to be really nice. We're in the 60s in our southern counties. You can usually add 1 or 2 degrees to this on the Euro. I usually do. So I would say low 60s, Newton, Jasper, Stark counties. Notice the shadow of the lake, though. There's not going to be a real strong wind tomorrow because remember that there's a weak low that's going to form over us, meaning there's not a lot of wind. And whenever there's not a lot of wind, the lake's cold, right? And cold air is heavy and dense. And so up above Lake Michigan, there's just this layer of cold, heavy, dense air. And when there's no wind from the south to keep it out over the lake, it just goes like blob, and it kind of expands. And so that's what a lake breeze is. That's what we deal with this time of year. So because there's no strong wind tomorrow, that cold air from Lake Michigan is going to expand inland. So if you're in Lake Porter, LaPorte counties, you're going to be dealing with cold temperatures as you get closer to the lake. So keep that in mind, all right? But you get down towards Valpo, Maryville, you should be just fine. I think the lake breeze will be north of you. So pretty nice day for everyone, except for our lakeshore counties will be kind of chilly. And then, as I mentioned, we pull in colder air right there for Thursday. And then here's our temperature profile on Friday as the storm's moving in. Look at this. Could be 60 in Indianapolis. We're holding in the 30s here. No wonder we have a precip challenge in terms of forecasting that. So there you go. Good question, though. Maxwell brings up a good reminder. Clocks go forward next weekend. It's not it's not this weekend. It's the weekend after that. So, yeah, we're 11 days away, Maxwell. I think you probably said that right. I always get confused when people say next weekend. I always think it's this weekend, but this weekend is this weekend, and the next weekend's the one after that. I always say it wrong. But anyway, yeah, we're 11 days away from a time change, which means later sunsets. We're talking 6:30, folks. So good stuff coming our way. Mary, you're welcome. Mike, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Cabrina says this was the warmest 45-degree day I've ever felt. Seriously sweating out there today. That sun's energy is getting stronger for sure. Kurt just joining. That's okay, Kurt. I won't make you rewind the whole broadcast. We'll just give you a quick summary. I'm just going to say it instead of finding the maps. Kurt, the low pressure is going to go right over northwest Indiana. So that means we're towing the line between rain and snow. There's a forecast model that shows heavy snow over us. The GFS and the Euro keep it further north and west, like Chicago north. So what I'm leaning towards right now is that we may start as some snow Friday morning. I think we switch over to rain after that. It's going to be a cold, nasty, raw rain. I think the heavier snow lines up northern Illinois, Wisconsin, and then we may have some snow on the backside of it. I don't think this is going to be anything big in terms of accumulations and snow. We may end up with close to nothing out of this. However, there's a disclaimer, and the disclaimer is the fact that this low can still shift. And if it shifts 20 miles south, 50 miles south, we're talking a different ball game. Okay. So just because I'm feeling not a lot of snow with this and rain, because that's the way the winter's gone, that's the way these storm tracks have gone, it doesn't mean it can't change. And we're still too early to call exactly rain or snow. So stay tuned, I guess I can say. All right. But I'm just kind of feeling like this isn't going to be a big deal for us. Okay. So that's it. I hope that helps. Kurt, you got a personalized forecast just for you, buddy. All right. Thank our sponsors for that. Okay. Guys, thanks for joining us. We are going to do this again tomorrow night because there's going to be new information coming in. I like to do as much as I can out ahead of the storm. When it's here, it's here. We can't change much, right? And you can always follow the conditions on regionweather.com. So we'll leave you with that. All right. You guys have a wonderful evening, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow night. Okay. All right. Bye.